control this. Yeah. So thank you for coming today. Some of you, like Adam, has been and Af have been to previous seminars. This isn't normally our venue.
No, it's not,
But
unfortunately.
our venue got cancelled last minute, so we've had to get us in this small room. But we appreciate you coming down today. And we're going to deliver from a place of, I've been coaching 10 years. He's been in the industry 10 years, coaching a little less, but he's been an athlete and now he's a coach. So I want to share the experience. A lot of the time you go to these seminars, it's one or the other. It's either marketing and branding or it's education. And a lot of time it's from people that are not coaching anymore, that used to coach. And the industry just moves so fast. And what was working 2 years ago, as you know, doesn't work 2 years later. So we want to share from a place of experience.
Yeah, and I guess because we're like active coaches as well,
Yeah.
and we're people that are currently like trying to level up as well. Like we started in the same position like a few years ago, like a lot of people, but then obviously throughout the time we've grown, we've gotten better, we've experienced things, and we just want to just give you guys back as well. And obviously for me, I'm coming from an angle of being a competitive bodybuilder myself, how I've been able to, still achieve great things in my competitive career, but also grow my business alongside of it. So I'm going to be sharing it from an athlete point of view, but also as a coach point of view as well, because that's how I can relate to my clients, is because I walk what they're doing. I walk the walk 24/7, and hence they see me as an authority figure, and I can actually get better results with them too. So it's going to be like, from Jase, obviously Mr. Elite Lifestyle right here. He's going to have his angle.
Basically, I'm small.
Basically. Still bigger than me though. And I'm going to obviously come from my angle, just being a competitive bodybuilder. And then basically coaching and competing at the highest level you can. So yeah, it's going to be a really good day, man. And I hope you guys, get a lot from it. And yeah.
And then also because doing it from a perspective, a lot of people, I get questions like, can I still bodybuild, do photo shoots and be a good coach? And a lot of people question that, like, can I be a great bodybuilder and a great coach? And there's obviously a sign that you can, or you can be someone that was and hasn't and use your experience to navigate. So we're going to start here today. And then I hope everyone's coming for food. My pal's got an amazing restaurant, so we'll go from here to there. That'll be a bit more chilled out. I know a few of us drove, so I might get people to bunch up with people in cars. It's about 30 minutes away, so we'll go across to there. But we're going to get stuck straight in. So just so we know the room, who is actually struggling with actual coaching? Like actually, like when I say actual coaching, not having too much pride, but like actually nailing the results to the highest level. Is anyone struggling? Af, yeah, you're a client of mine, Pete. Sweet. And who's actually struggling with like lead gen, client acquisition, getting clients through the door? Sweet. Because today it's a mixed bag. You'll get some stuff about coaching, you'll get stuff about learning about blood work, but then you'll also get stuff about navigating your personal brand that's going to lead to lead acquisition, client retention, and stuff like that. So we wanted to give it from two different angles, so you leave with something, hopefully from both sides.
Is there also anyone that just started coaching, like new to coaching altogether?
Which
Okay,
is
perfect.
good because you're going to get these sort of biohacks to the next level and jump a few of the levels you're currently on. But you'll take something from today, whether it's learning about blood work that you can use eventually when you've got elite clients, or if it's learning how to navigate your personal brand. So like I said, intensive coaching seminar where we share a decade of experience when it comes to physique development, client transformations, and building a coaching business that stands the test of time. And a lot of the time people think, and I speak to Ads about this all the time, he's been a client for a long time, is your coaching business isn't always going to go like this. And we've probably all seen it because naturally in any business you're in, you don't just get job promotion every year. And we have to see our coaching is that you're going to have to stand the test of time. So we're going to cover absolutely everything which comes to building a successful coaching business. And how do you view success when it comes to your coaching business as well? Because it's not always monetary as well.
Yeah, and that's going to be the main thing because, I mean, coming from my perspective as well, because I'm an athlete, I've had to navigate my own branding in a certain way that I can actually put out content, educational content that applies to people in the way that I was like a few years ago when I was starting off in bodybuilding or fitness. So like, how did I navigate that and actually draw people in? So that's what we're going to be going into that. So a lot of it's going to be like personal branding today. It's going to be a massive part of it as well. Not only like achieving great results, but I want you guys to understand like how you can actually put out the relevant content that reaches the people that you want to target. Because that's how you get business. That's how you actually grow your business. It's by putting out the content, but also by getting the results too. And so we're going to go through a lot of our methodologies, a lot of strategies that we go and we do with our current clients to get great results.
And case studies.
And case studies. So you guys will see what we actually do in practice, like right now, to get like from A to B, and you guys can obviously apply that and then grow your business as well, which is going to be the
And
main
also
thing.
we'll have two Q&A sections, so don't be shy with questions because I've done many seminars. There've been a few questions I leave, and then my Instagram's got like 10 questions, and I'm like, ask them today because your question might help someone else as well.
For sure. So I'll kick it off. Well, yeah, as I said, guys, I'm a men's physique IFBB pro, specializing in physique development. I started from playing sports my whole life, so I've always played sports. Because if you can hear, I've got a little bit of a twang to my accent. So I'm from Ireland, so like I was raised up in Ireland. I know, yeah. And so throughout my life, you know, I lived in the countryside. So we had nothing else to do but play sports. So I've always played sports my whole life, and that's how I kind of got into fitness. And then obviously, you know, throughout my time moving to the UK, I found bodybuilding. You know, at uni, got my first gym membership there. Then I was into business. I was always into business growing up. So like I had like e-commerce businesses, little things you do like tuck shop in school and shit like that, you know? And then like you learn like about business earlier on. And then when I was in uni, I started businesses, like e-commerce businesses. But I didn't know I wanted to be in the fitness industry per se, but I've always been interested in it. And then obviously went after uni, became a PT on the gym floor. So I learned how to be a busy PT. Because that's another skill, you gotta have people skills, right? So that's one thing that I gained quite early in my journey. And then obviously, during that, I developed one of the Euro's first posing businesses. Most guys may know that, Motion Performance, all whilst being actually working a corporate job. So I started 2 businesses whilst working my corporate job as a paralegal. Once that scaled up, left my full-time job, went all into my businesses. And then obviously here I am today. So I actually left my full-time job in 2022, and it's taken 3 years to actually scale it, which is not a long time. But what we're going to be doing is actually showing you how I actually did that. And like I actually reinvested really, really heavily, same thing you guys doing today, to actually get me to that point. So I'm going to pass it on.
That's pretty cool to hear, because a lot of people have that notion of like starting an online business, it must be busy tomorrow, and it really doesn't happen. Like you have to stand the industry test of time. I've been here a long, long time. So I've been bodybuilding, quit in 2022, retired, just thought, you know, I'm going to go all in with coaching, because I got to a point where I was bodybuilding, clients were competing, turning pro on the same day I was bodybuilding, and I was like, this is just a bit crazy. So I've had 10 years. This is going into 2026, my 10th year online coaching. Damn, a long time. And genuinely, when I was online coaching, I knew about 5 online coaches. And I just took that leap. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to be... Jordan Peters was a coach at the time, £15 a week. So it shows how long ago that was. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to go with it. Next year is our 10th year. We put our first client on stage in 2017, Jason Gardner. So yeah, 10 years deep, and he works for him. So the first client I put on stage actually coaches for his brand now. So that's crazy. So that was 10 years ago. I've coached Olympians. We've got Olympian going next year. Pros, got Isaac second, 1 point off the Olympia this year as well. And lifestyle clients, you see I'm big on shoots and big on this and big on that. And I always say to everyone in this room, I say it to Isaac, I say it to everyone, I say it to Giovanni, I had this chat not long ago. If you're building a coaching brand, right, we all want to work with the dudes and girls that look the best. Understand very early on, the elite pool of genetically elite people is this big, the lifestyle pool is this big. Always fish in the bigger pond. The bigger pond's going to pay your bills. The elite clients that you want to work with, that's going to satisfy your personal fulfillment. So that's why everyone's like, why are you not just bodybuilding? Why are you lifestyle as well? Because I want to fish in the bigger pond and I want to serve as many people as I can. So yeah, that was 10 years. 10 years ago, some of you might be working in the gym desk now, waiting for your breakthrough in the online world. I was there as well, shadowing, at the time, one of the best coaches in the UK, worked at a gym desk. 2017, you know, so you followed me a while, you were probably still in school. You were 16, but it's crazy. Now he's got a coaching brand that has members of staff. And how long have you been coaching? 19, but at the end of the day, he followed the journey from a long time. And sometimes these events, you follow the journey. Sometimes before you launch a brand, you have to just collect data and soak in as much knowledge as you can. And then that was 2017. I had my first online client. 2018, the next one. 2019, I moved to Dubai for education, networking. When I was bodybuilding, I trained at some of the best gyms in the world. 2022, I quit bodybuilding because I thought, let's see where we can take the brand. Come back to the UK from Dubai. Feel like I maxed my network out in the UK the last 2 years, and now I'm in between Dubai. This last 6 weeks I've been in Dubai, Washington and the UK. But yeah, now we're here. So it started, I always say, back yourself with your abilities. The fact that all of you are here today, you've obviously backed yourself and you know what you want out of this game. A lot of people want it, but they don't really want it. So, and then reinvesting heavily. You know, in this room today, it's not about what you spent to get here. It's about the people you're going to meet, the network, Has attended every single event I've
see
done.
him everywhere.
Every single event I've done. I saw him in Dubai last week. He was at another event because he's always investing. And I've seen his coaching brand go from strength to, and it's not always monetary. Sometimes it's putting yourself in the right people, right rooms, taking a gem off someone, forming a friendship today that you didn't have before as well. And keep rolling the dice. After 10 years, if anyone follows me, I'm probably more hungry than I've ever been. You can't go on your timeline and you'll see me. You'll see me. You'll see me if you open your Instagram now. But like I said, it starts early. Then it's all about learning. Establishing what I want to be, getting that early experience. Then it's about learning. Then it's about growth. And then now, right now, where we are in the business, it's about expansion.
All right. Okay, yeah, so this is a little bit more about me, and I guess I'm going to come from a different point of view because obviously I was, after I left uni, I went to a corporate job. All right, so I worked as a PT one-to-one for like a year.
Interrupt.
Yeah, go for it.
And sometimes that's fine. Some of you will be in positions where you'll start your fitness journey and it might not take off. And you might have to do something else, but that doesn't mean the door's fully shut. You can always come back to it as well.
Yeah, that's really important because I was a PT, like I was a busy PT, but then I got burnt out. I didn't enjoy what I was doing anymore because for me it was like I got into like being a PT to help people, then I got really busy and I stopped enjoying the process because I don't know if you guys were PTs before, like it ended up just being like therapy session most of the times, I was just hearing people talk, and not actually put the work in. So then I actually lost the passion for what I wanted to do. So I got a corporate job, went through the system, got quite high up, and then I realized, what, there's a different angle. That's when I started really investing into myself because I wanted to be an online coach. I wanted to still help people, but in a way that I can help more people, but I still enjoy the process too because I just had the passion of like coaching and fitness. So I started my coaching job whilst I was in my corporate job. And then I think it was like a year. So I just got mentors. I got mentors because I just wanted to learn. Because I knew that I had work ethic. I always say this to people, all right? If you know that you're hardworking, the only thing that stops you from getting to your goal is information, right? Because if you can back yourself knowing that, you know what, man, if I can learn this thing, and if I put the work in, what is stopping me from getting to where I want to get to? So that was always my mentality. So even if something cost me like half my paycheck, I would do it because I know my return on investment is going to be large because I'm going to put the work in. I would have sleepless nights. I would do that. If my brother would say he should be here, he would let you know. He'd be like, this guy is a maniac. I'll be up all night like working because I knew that I wanted to be out of the position I was currently in. So I scaled my businesses to the point where I could leave my job. And then from there, I went all into fitness. People thought I was crazy, but my dad thought I was crazy. I was still living at home at that time.
And how is it coming from sort of a cultured background, leaving what would be like a
good job,
secure, good traditional job? And again, the fitness space, it's only really blown up. I know some of us here would have said, Mom, I'm going to do fitness full time, and it's sort of like, what's going on?
Yeah, so for me, most of you guys may relate. Like when I started off and I was earning good money, but it wasn't even about that for me, was I wasn't enjoying what I was doing. And I'm always passion driven. If I have a passion for something, I will go all into it. And that's what happened. And I told my parents, look, I'm going to do this fitness stuff. They didn't really understand it at the start. But I was like, look, I'm going to put 100% of my efforts into it. And they know my character trait. If I work on something, put my head to it, I'm going to do well at it. Because I knew that about myself, because I've given myself that reaffirmance a lot of the times. So one thing I always tell to people, if you promise yourself to do something, do that promise that you set yourself because it reaffirms who you say you are. And I knew that I was someone that could work hard. So I left my full-time job, even when it was a risky time where it's like, I just got like, I don't know, I think it was like I broke even just 1 month. I was like, fuck it, I'm leaving now. That's it. And I just went all in. But I knew if I put as much time as I did in my job, then how can I fail? But like, I was working 2-3 hours a day on this fitness thing. What if I do the whole day? All right, so reinvesting in yourself is something that really helped me. Like going to these type of things and not worrying about, how much it's going to cost me, but thinking about like, I pay this amount, I'm fucking better figure it out now. And that was my mentality. All right, so I went through the whole process of that, and it takes time to build a solid business. This year's been a great year for me, and it's because it's momentum. Every single year you learn more because you come into these type of events. I always tell people it's not one event. It's gonna like be the oh my God, this is the thing. It's like it's a compound effect, right? You learn from this, you go to another one, you learn from another one, you go to different spaces, you're learning new gems, and you get better every single time you come to this environment because you soak in from people. And that's one thing that helped me. And over time, obviously, as I said, a little bit more about me again. Uni, e-commerce, found bodybuilding, 2027 to 2019. Did my first comp. Then I got sponsored. This was actually where I found that fitness could actually be something that I want to do. Because I got sponsored by Diametize. I don't know if you know Diametize companies. It's quite a big nutrition company in the States, but they used to give me a salary. I was like, what the fuck? Getting a salary to actually, getting a salary to lift weights, I was so confused, but then I saw that there was a potential there. And that's when I started like seeing what was available, what was out there. Exposure is a really big thing. So like coming to this type of environment here, you see what other people are doing. You can only reach or imagine things if you've seen other people doing it, in my opinion.
It unlocks that limiting belief, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have become a coach if I didn't see my friend at the time, Rob, become a busy coach, become a successful coach. Sometimes you need to see to understand you can do.
Yeah,
do you
so
know
that
what I
was
mean?
really important to me. That exposure really set the tone, and that's when I went from there. So I guess it's a lot of spiel. I'm not going to go into it because it's quite a lot. But the main thing to understand is like, the main thing that I did here was just constantly reinvesting into myself. Every single time it's learning. You have to be a sponge, guys. Because like you may understand one part of your business now, you may understand something, but next year things change. You always need to be updated. Like, you know, I learned from Jase, even being a client of Jase this year, I learned so much from him. Went to another place, called, you know, just keep learning. That's so important. And that's basically my story, just aggressively reinvesting back into my business, which helped me scale really fast and put me into position today. And it was never easy.
You know what? Isaac actually
easy.
attended one of the first seminars I did in 2020.
Yeah, I still got a picture. He was a big guy there, like double the size. Balloon. I'm going to put it up there.
But that's the full circle moment.
Full
In 2020,
circle.
he paid and he attended an event.
Yeah.
In 2025, he's delivering an event. So
Yeah,
again, what if he never exposed himself to what could be? We didn't have this plan till one day I said, hey.
Yeah. At that time, I was still in my corporate job. You can see I was still reinvesting. Like half my paycheck would go on reinvesting.
That was a lockdown seminar we did as well.
It was a tough time for me, but I knew that I had to get out of that.
So again, that shows the trajectory of the journey. It's not overnight. That's 5 years.
5
now
years.
he's doing his own, and then we'll have another one, and another one, and another one.
So yeah.
So what you'll learn today, we're going to go through a few things. Client transformations, because I am a biggest believer, the biggest referral model is your clients. When you get results, your results will speak for you. 100% when your clients speak about you, the deed of trust is there. The barrier to entry to sign up's lower. Mindset strategies, me and Isaac, we're going to really understand each other on a mindset and emotional regulation techniques to get the best out of your clients. Diet and building phases, programming that works. The mental game, which is psychological strategies for both coaches and clients. That's how you retain clients. Personal branding, building your reputation, because in this game it's about standing out in the industry because it's very, very saturated. But saturation's good. Saturation means demand. Demand's great when you know how to stand out apart from everyone. And then an interactive Q&A, specific questions on absolutely anything.
You guys went crazy with that in the group chat as well.
Yeah. who put the AI questions in there?
Yeah, someone put the AI. It was about 20 questions. I was like, bro, take the whole thing. All right, cool. So we're going to go straight into it, guys. So client transformations that speak for themselves. The gold standard approach for me, and this is coming from a bodybuilding perspective, actually here, but you can also relate that into lifestyle because it's same. Like for me, like if I'm going to get somebody ready for a comp, the guys you know, Eduardo and Cesno. So it's usually like a 16-week prep. And the reason why I do 16 weeks, like the minimum, is because it gives me more of like, it gives me a better timeline for me to phase out their prep, and also give them a time where they can be ready early. You know, I don't like to run people like and do like, you know, cardio or peak week. I want peak week to be like a chill week for a lot of my clients. So the starting point of your clients will dictate their approach. Obviously, so there may be nuances here, but give yourself a minimum 16-week prep, and there may be exceptions, but this is my rule of thumb, okay? And this is like a little graph here that I put one of my clients on. Let's go straight into it. Now, why do you build before you cut? So I'm going to go into this here. So this is like, if you have a client that comes to you in a position where, look, Isaac, I want to build muscle.
Why do you think you build before you cut?
Actually, let's fire the questions.
Why do you think you come to me as a client? Why do we build up caloric intake before we cut? What is your answer? And today's going to be a bit interactive. Just want to see where your mind is because there's no right or wrong with coaching essentially. Why do you think we'll build before we cut? Pretty much spot on. So you always want to build a runway for your clients. So sometimes clients will come and they, Jason, I want to jump into a diet, shows in 14 weeks or shoots in 14 weeks. And sometimes as a coach, it's all right to say no. It's all right, hey bro, can we add another 6 weeks to build your calories up? Because say for example, if your calories, if it comes to you at 2,500 calories and we have to take that down 30 to 40%, we're in danger zone. Whereas if we can build that caloric intake up and then we have to take it down 30%, we're probably a bit uncomfortable but still able to function from an ethical standpoint as well. So don't be shy, don't think, gonna get this client in shape and just take him on board because you'll end up crash dieting that client.
Yeah, now calorie position is super important because again, if you're starting a cut on at a very low, a lot of people come to you and they're like, they're ready to crash diet. They're like 2,000 calories and like, bro, I want to cut. I'm like, bro, you're eating nothing already. Like, where do you want to cut? You know what I'm saying? You still got loads of body fat to lose, So the best thing to do is actually build them up. And even coming from like let's say prep, for example, Cesno, for example, when he came to me for coaching, he was like, I want to compete. And I was like, bro, we need to build some muscle. He's like, I want to win my first competition. I was like, yeah, we can do that, but we need to build some muscle. And sometimes they don't want to hear that. They just want to go straight into a prep. But the main thing is to get the best outcome, you need to build the muscle, especially if you want to compete in bodybuilding. A specific muscle group that you need to build in order for you to do better at that category, to actually blend in with the criteria. So you build the muscle, get the calorie up, but then one of the main important things that I always say to people is actually the mental lock-in. That's really, really important.
Down a bit?
Because if they can form a routine, a structure, it allows them to actually make the cut a lot easier. Because let's say, for example, you start a cut, but a lot of people do cuts wishy-washy, right? Without a coach. So a lot of the times, in order for you to have a successful prep, they need to have a better mindset lock-in so that their prep is actually an easier one. So that's one of the main reasons why I actually do a building phase before I actually go into a cut for them. Okay, so key metrics now to track during prep. I'm going to fire this out to people as well. So who coaches competitors here? Just want to know, just so I can...
Or who wants to coach competitors?
Yeah? Okay.
You not got any competitors? Kind of? Okay. Yeah, so you got to own it, man.
Yeah. No, like, own it, I mean, competitors, it's like, I love it. I love coaching lifestyle guys back and proper nerd out with competitors. So I really, you'll see me as I'm talking, I'll just get into it. But yeah, so what are the main metrics to track during prep? Weight, but daily weight, and get the average. A lot of people will do check-in once a week, and the coach will say, okay, just give me your once a week weight, but there's so many things that can happen throughout the week.
I'm going to challenge Isaac.
Well, yeah, challenge, I like to see it.
But, however, I agree. Daily weights. I would opt different. But again, we say there's no right or wrong.
Yeah, different approaches.
I would say twice a week for me to work an average, but I get the daily. Just because sometimes you have to frame it to the client. And this is what we talk about, the mental aspect of coaching. If I'm coaching Isaac and psychologically he doesn't like getting on the scales every day because every time he bumps, hey coach, I bumped up in weight. I will only get people to track daily metrics if I know mentally they've not got an emotional tie to scale weight. Because if I do get a client to track it daily, every time it goes up there's an issue. And sometimes, more so with lifestyle clients, I will pull away from the daily and say twice a week.
Yeah.
But if there's no emotional attachment, 100% weigh. Like I weigh every day. But yeah. So again, this is just to show you, even though we're delivering together, there's different approaches.
Yeah. So I came from a scientific background. Obviously, for me, going to uni is biomedical science. So for me, it's like data is king. The more data that I have, the better I can predict the outcome. And for me, I go on the averages. So I actually encourage people to...
Yeah, I like the average.
The average is good for me. I encourage people to actually weigh themselves daily. Now, if they told me, like, Isaac, I'm not weighing myself daily. I was like, if it's a guy, I'm like, come on, like, it's just... stop being a pussy, like, you know what I mean? Like, just weigh yourself, bro, you know what I'm saying? Because, look, the more data I have, the better I can help you out. I can get the outcome that I want. If you're not weighing yourself, bro, like, you give me, like, maybe you went to bed late and you ate on a full stomach and you weigh the next morning, it's a completely different weight. You know what I'm saying?
Does anyone know any metrics that might potentially rise scale weight up if you've nailed it and adhered the diet to a T? Does anyone know? Leg day. Why it drives inflammation, drives cortisol in the body.
Yeah.
Your body actually doesn't see lower body training as fun.
That's it.
Later meals, later digestion. So if your clients are checking in and they're telling you they stuck to it and the weight's actually gone up, as a coach, you shouldn't just be like, oh, the weight's gone up. You have to look at every option and variable of why has the weight gone up if a client's adhered. And as a coach, your goal as a tactician to find out why that scale weight's gone up.
Yeah, so taking that into consideration, that is why I do the averages, because I know he's going to have a leg day in the week. So rather than he give me his weight every single leg day, I know the leg that's going to be in the week, and naturally the weight will spike up. So the average just allows me to just be a consistent thing. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's why I do that mainly. Digestion, another good thing to monitor during any cutting phase or even a gaining phase. Digestion. Why? Because calories that you're consuming, if you're not digesting it properly, you're not going to get the best bang for buck. You know what I'm saying? And also, if you are not digesting your food, you're just going to be bloated. You know, that means you're not actually absorbing the nutrient that's in there. You're not going to get the results that you want to see.
And some of the biggest killers of digestion is you get it on prep. Oh, I'm dieting, bro. Just use this sweetener, use that sweetener, use this sweetener. These are probably the biggest killers of digestion. So also be aware if a client is adhering and their weight's gone up and they're sticking to it, hey, you're using any sweeteners, because sweeteners can, some taste great, but for me, they wreck my digestion.
Yeah, it's known to wreck digestion. So if you have any guys that are using loads of sweeteners and losing all this artificial stuff during the prep or in the cutting phase, just tell them to put it out, because it may be good now, but I tell you, like in a few weeks.
Now, I've got an example of this. I had a client in a photo shoot, right? And then the final week, he cut out sweeteners. He lost 5 kilos.
Yeah, lost 5 kilos by putting out sweeteners.
Crazy.
Sometimes when you're dieting, you put loads of gum in, put loads of sauce, want to make your coffee taste nice because you're tasting that thick. Sweeteners, honestly, I remember that is the biggest killer, sweeteners.
Yeah, performance. Now, performance is really, really important. Your strength, energy levels in the gym. I always ask guys, my clients here would know, like, how is your performance in the gym? And it's really important to know that, because that will allow you to also see how their calories is actually being partitioned in their body, and also how much energy they have. Because if your performance starts to slip down, that's when you know something is wrong with the calories, or maybe they're struggling somewhere. You know, for me, like, I use that as a high measure to know how they're getting on in the prep. As soon as the calories start to drop down, as soon as their performance starts to drop down, I need to question, okay, if this calories is saying, why does it keep doing that?
You might have to set it later for a longer time.
Yeah, I'll have to do that during the break,
yeah.
Sorry guys, it's first time doing this thing here. Yes, the performance starts to drop down. You need to question whether the calories that they're currently on is actually good for them, and also the fatigue as well. Like, how is, like, you know, the fatigue is going to be a massive thing in a diet phase. So then you may have to, like, you know, do something with their calories, give them a break, or just drop the volume in their exercises.
Just keep giving it a wobble, yeah.
Yeah, so another thing, steps, obviously everybody knows about your knee. You know, the knee is going to be, it's going to be where you actually, you know, burn as much calories during the day. Like, actually, when you go to the gym and exercise, it's only for a small part of your overall calorie deficit. So you want to make sure that steps is high and active. So I make sure my guys get a minimum of 8K steps during any cutting phase, and that allows them to be active. What normally happens when someone is on a diet phase, they stop moving. People just stop doing things, you know what I'm saying? And then you start to see the trend of fat loss start to come down. So the knee helps them to keep active. So I run my clients, you know, steps up to like 12K sometimes, like during prep, and I pull away from their actual cardio, and then I just increase the steps. It just gets them moving, because you can move and not think about it. But then when you have to go on the Stairmaster, this guy loves the Stairmaster. So like, like when you get the Stairmaster, you thinking about it already stresses you out. You know, it does for me sometimes. He loves it. You live on that shit. But yeah, for me, it's like, okay, steps is a lot easier to do, and also it contributes to your overall calorie burning throughout the day. Hydration, obviously everyone knows you need to be hydrated, so I track that. Minimum 4 liters for me. Sleep, really important. Sleep quality is really important. So the sleep duration and sleep quality, very different things. Duration, obviously, people want to get 6-7 hours of sleep minimum. That's what I go for. But then also, what is your quality? Are you waking up in the night? I know some of us, we barely sleep, so it's like, we're not really, this guy doesn't sleep. But like, if you're a performance athlete, you're trying to cut, like, sleep is really important for you to make sure that you can actually perform in the gym, but also feel good and actually have the calorie. You can actually burn some fat and lose some fat too. Visuals, obviously, that's another thing you want to track. So basically, guys, the more metrics you track, the more leverage you can pull and adjust when needed. Comprehensive tracking separates good coaches from elite coaches.
And I'd actually say is, I've always had this, I prep the lifestyle clients the same as I prep the competitive clients. But if there's more data to pull, you're going to excel your results quicker. So a lot of guys will be like, oh, how do you prep the lifestyle clients compared to the competitive clients? I'm like,
Same, yeah.
the exact same.
Yeah.
So it's going to yield up the level result.
Yeah, for me, it's like the only difference that I would say in terms of competitors and lifestyle is how much I can push a competitor.
Yeah.
You know,
And the duration of the diet.
And the duration.
But again, the duration can be less because the look is somewhat less.
Exactly. So if Eduardo, if you come to me, or Isaac, can I have a cheat meal or can I have an uptime meal? I'll slap that shit out of his hand. Like, he's not having that because we got a comp in 2 weeks. Like with lifestyle people, it's like, all right, bro, like, you know, swap this for this. You know, there's ways you can go about it because you want to promote a healthier lifestyle, not restrictions.
Yes,
you know. So you need to teach them how to go about doing things in a way that doesn't take away from their goal.
Yeah, so for lifestyle clients, would you still use the approach of building before you...
100%. It's the exact same metric. If I come to you as a lifestyle client, even more so, lifestyle clients say, hey bro, I think I'm eating enough. 9 times out of 10 they're not eating enough. But I come to you on 2,500 cows and we want to go into a deficit, where are we going to go? You know, you also want to leave, the flex isn't crash dieting, the flex is actually the opposite. Dieting with sustainability and making it as easy as possible. Again, a lot of coaches, if someone comes to them and they just put them in the diet phases because they're scared, they don't know how to word it. If you word and explain the process of why you are doing what you're doing, that client's going to buy into the process, it's easier.
Yeah.
So sometimes you might only have to add 4 weeks onto that diet phase. But if I come to you at 2,500, we get straight into a diet phase, it's like, oh, what are we doing? We're going to be coming down. So, but we also want to promote the power of increasing your calories and building tissue, because if we do that at the start of the diet, when that client finishes the diet, they're going to understand the importance of taking calories back up.
Is it like maintenance for a while, or do you push past maintenance?
I would push past maintenance. If they're doing cardio, pull cardio down 300 to 400 calories upwards and engage that. If scale weight's not going up more than 0.3 to 0.5, can probably push a bit more.
You want to go for 6 weeks, is that?
Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks. I think that's a good amount of time for your appetite to adjust. I think any longer is like where you come out of like a reverse diet into a gaining phase, and so I would say, Kyle, you probably do similar, 4 to 6 weeks, come out, educate them. Because the last thing you want to do is someone's come to you, training shit, they come to you, they get in the diet phase, performance dips anyway. You want to let them have that runway of fun training, fun food, and then going from there.
I have a lifestyle plan. She's a girl, but she's about 50 kilos, like, so 1,300 max. She will not really get into calories higher, but she's constantly freaking out on the scale, but a higher speed. Do you know kind of way? I can't push calories higher, like.
Why?
She won't let me.
I guess you could actually.
She's like obsessed with the scale. Like obsessed.
Oh, jeez.
But again, that's going to be breaking down communication. That's going to be genuinely a lot of communication, a lot of phone calls. Hey, let's try this for 3 days. You might have to micromanage her daily. Clients like that, you see the clients you put the most time in, you learn the most out of them. That's just more communication from your part.
Yeah.
Because again, she's in that world of scarcity. When you're scared as a child, you need your handheld. She needs a handheld. Yeah, naturally you're just going to have to nurture her through that process and explain why. Why? She's going to run into hormonal factors if we start dieting from 30 calories. She's going to lose her female phase, which is not a nice place to be. It's going to take a long time to come back. So it's explaining and nurturing maybe on a daily check and a daily catch-up.
Yeah, I think our job as a coach is just basically education. We're teaching people things like she wouldn't know the reason why you want to do it. So you really have to articulate it to her in a way that she understands.
And I know you're giddy, you're excited. Take your time and explain it to her.
That's the other question.
Something similar to that. So basically, if you've got a client and their calories are like, say, I don't know, 2,500, 3,000 calories, and obviously you work it out how many meals and stuff. What about if they turn around and say, I could only eat like 2-3 meals a day?
But again, I would frame that as it's all tonality. Hey bro, let's do 3 meals and a snack, because then already you've removed that mental capacity of we're taking out a meal. Anyone that says I can do 3 meals, I'm like, alright, let's do 3 meals and a snack. Let's do 3 meals and a shake. You're just removing that conscious of, I'm eating 4 meals a day, and just reframing the way you're wording it.
The snack is basically another meal.
Snack's a meal.
But a lot of people don't see it as a meal.
Yeah, but you just have to change, because some people have that sort of mindset that I'm eating another meal. No, it's a snack. So change the way you word it. But again, it's explaining digestion and how much protein we can consume in one sitting is why we're spreading meals across the day.
Yeah. I had that as well. It's so funny. A guy was eating about 4,000 calories. I put it off like 5 meals, 5 meals and 4 meals and a snack. And then he was like,
the biggest snack you've ever seen.
Yeah. He was like, bro, can I condense it to 2 meals? Like, come on, 4,500 calories in 2 meals. I was like, nah, bro, come on, taking the piss. And I have to tell him why it's not going to actually help him. And he's yeah, that makes sense. So it's all about just, people that ask, but your job is to educate people.
A lot of time it comes the way you frame things.
Yeah, framing things is important. And And the thing is, like, you frame things for one person to get it, you have to frame things for somebody else. But the thing is, when you work with diverse type of clients, you will learn how to frame things in different ways to actually hit the type of hit their understanding. If you get what I'm trying to say. Really important. All right. So, oh, look at this. Who's this here? So this is a real life transformation. So with Cesno, he came to me in this position here, and I was like, bro, we need to grow. You said you want to win a competition. We did the 4 months building phase, 16 weeks. I was like, this is what we need to do. It was a complete shock for you at the start, wasn't it? But you stuck to it. And what did I say to you at the start when we started the building phase?
Remember you said it was going to be a long journey. We needed to build a lot of muscle tissue. Now that you mentioned the snack thing, it wasn't a snack. I just realized that was the whole meal. But like, again, it was the mental thing, because when I see snack, I'm not thinking I have to eat.
Yeah, it's again, in coaching a lot of time it's psychological. How do you frame things? How do you frame cardio? How do you frame, I'm going to get you to do cardio, I'm going to get you to do steps on the treadmill. It's about how you framing it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but it was a phase that we needed to go into because we had the goal to win his first competition, which we did. And I was like, bro, you do this, you're gonna win your comp. And I said it straight up to him. Cause I saw the potential. And I was like, this Nigerian brother, I'd do anything for him, he's gonna go. So just do what I tell you to do, bro. But then he did it, he smashed it. We did a 16-week prep coming from this phase. So he had a lot of muscle, put on 10 kilos in 4 months. Crazy.
With muscle comes body fat.
Body fat. I accepted a little bit of body fat because I knew that he can drop it quickly because he just naturally could be lean. You see that obviously when you coach somebody, you'll be able to tell,
The more physique you coach,
yeah, you can tell. So we went through the phase 16-week prep again. By that last week, he was cruising, wasn't really doing anything. How was the last week for you? Easy?
Yeah, that was calm, yeah. I didn't feel like I was dieting.
Yeah, he didn't feel like he was dieting because we got him ready early. It was already 2 weeks out. Ever since then, dropped the cardio, like wash off fatigue. I wanted him to be on stage, relaxing, having a great time. That's for me. Being an athlete myself, I want to be on stage, not feeling absolutely shattered. A lot of coaches will run you all the way. I've been there as well with some coaches where I was ran all the way to the end. Ran all the way to the end, and then I stepped on stage and I was like, I'm knackered, bro. Do you know what I'm saying?
Don't get me wrong, it is prep, so you are going to feel somewhat fatigued. We're not going to...
Yeah. You're going to be tired, but you can limit that, We want to make sure that it's like for me, the stage performance is obviously where you're going to actually shine. You can be, lean, but also fatigue management in the last week is going to be really important. Even if you're trying to nail a photo shoot for your clients. The last week, you want to make sure that they enjoy the process because you only remember the last week as well, right? So I want to make sure that he enjoys that process, and also being ready early makes it so much easier to peak. Do you know what I'm saying? Because all you do then, it's an art, right? It's like carbs and water. All you're doing is balancing the carbs and water. Then you don't need to use any diuretics, if you want to just nail the peak. Personally, I don't prefer not to use diuretics for my clients. So I just do, carbs and water. And once you can nail that peak, and once you understand like how the carbs and the water, work together, it's actually really easy to nail the peak, which we'll go into it as well. We'll go into that today as well, guys, so you guys can understand that. It's going to be really annoying. I'm sorry that I missed it.
Yeah, sort it out on the break.
Yeah. All right, cool. So as I said here, the starting point reflects the end point. Give yourself time with 2 to 4 weeks safety blanket beyond your initial timeline and estimate. So always get your clients ready early for a photo shoot, dieting phase. Like even if you do like wedding preps, do you know what I'm saying? Like if you're getting guys ready for the preps, for the wedding, get them ready 2 weeks early.
It's also about getting ready early because if someone's first diet phase of you, there might be pitfalls. There might be broke my diet once, broke my diet twice, broke my diet 3 times. If you plan ahead, then you've got that time to factor for their mistakes because naturally all of us have dieted 3 or 4 times. Not everyone is like us. Not everyone finds that easier. Your first diet's your worst diet, so you might have a pitfall.
Yeah, give yourself more time than you think you need. Give themselves more time that they need as well. Really important. Just space bar. All right.
So I always say this. You just want to keep right. The start point reflects the end point. Never forget that, and that's where people go wrong. So the thing is, where do people go wrong? How to nail a prep. How to get the elite finish, and what you need to know. Simple, like I said, give yourself time. So if I got on a call with a client and he said, Jase, I want to do a shoot in 16 weeks, and I looked at the physique, and I thought, you know what? This physique needs 16 weeks. And I go with what I initially think. I say, all right, we need 20, or we need 18. I like to always give a 2-week buffer. So whatever my initial thought process is, we need 16. I always have 2 weeks because that's my safety blanket. And that's my blanket because at the end of the day is, I always plan with that safety blanket because I'm protecting myself as a coach. I want to deliver what I say I can. And that only comes from me actually hitting the target in my proposed timeline. Again, things might slow up, your body might run into fatigue, you might get sick for a week, which kills progress as well. Is that your brother?
Yeah, yeah.
This is Isaac's brother, who's extremely late.
He's a Nigerian, don't mind.
No, he's joking. So you always want to plan ahead because if you see in this game, you want to promise and over-deliver. You don't want to promise and under-deliver. So if I say, Adam, we're going to go 14-week diet, you're going to get told you're going to get ready by one day, and if that constantly moves, you start to lose faith in your coach. So how do I protect the faith my clients have in us? Hey mate, it's not going to take 14, it's going to take 18. And guess it, Adam, if he's ready, if we say 18 and he's ready in 15, he's going to be like, fucking hell, Jase is a magician. I can have a bit of food, I can back off. And a lot of the time, I view it like that all the time. How do I want to be seen by clients is over-delivering, getting people ready early, hitting the target on time. And that's the way it is, and that's like just protecting yourself in that. So many coaches get clients sucked into the 6 to 8 week diet phase. See on Instagram, 6-week transformation, 8 weeks, which is great. They deliver great results, but they create further problems down the line. So when you're crash dieting, I always say I pride a coach on being able to take, as a coach, you'll do for a figure. If a client wants to do a 12-week diet, if I say we're going to do a 16 and they listen, I'm like, they respect me as the authority in this relationship here. Crash dieting is not a flex. The opposite of the flex is sustainable dieting. That is the true flex. To be able to diet a client, give them cheat meals, make them relax, take time off cardio, promoting balance, and being able to compromise. How many of you allow lifestyle clients cheat meals? Why don't you? Because I give you one every week, so I want to know.
No, I kind of do.
Kind of. But no, this isn't. We're trying to. But why wouldn't you?
I don't call it a cheat meal. I just call it within your calories. Like if someone says I'm going to an Indian, I'm like, all right, here's what you eat before. Here's something I pick up.
But why wouldn't you do a off-plan meal, social meal? Why? Just so I can understand, because
I think I know from my clients they're just gonna just eat whatever. It's gonna be like, all right, I'll pick a starter, then a main, then a dessert, and then a few nibbles here.
But then when we look at the longevity of lifetime retention, client retention, lifetime value of clients, if I've now got a client I'm in the system with you and I've not had a meal off with my missus for 16 weeks where I could just be unrestricted, do you not feel that that will lead to a pitfall where it's like, I've done that for 6 months, I don't know.
So I did that.
Yeah. One of the main things I always ask on a consult call is like, do you got any missus, bro? Like, are you in a relationship? And the reason I ask that is because I want to get to know them on a level, like, because especially when their lifestyle, because again, we're trying to help their lifestyle to be better, you know. So, but you don't want to be restricted. So I always say like, okay, do you guys go for dinners? You know, do you go out? You know, how many times a week do you go out? That's also a really important question to ask, because you don't want that to stop because they're on their lifestyle, because their missus start resenting them because they can't do what they used to do. And then so instead of restricting it, we're gonna have a better way to go about it. So I always phrase it like, all right, bro, we're just gonna make sure that we're gonna change your lifestyle so we can keep you going out for milk, but we're gonna make better options. You know, so that's what always helps. So on my lifestyle diets, I have weekly off-plan meals because it's really important for them to learn how to eat healthy forever. Do you know what I'm saying?
Go for it.
That's as long as they're
Right?
progressing. That's as long as they're progressing though. It's not progressing don't you cheat meal, like, you know.
Sorry?
If they're taking the piss during the week, they also don't get it.
Yeah, naturally that comes with progression, but again, you don't also want to frame it from a mental perspective. You don't want to frame it as I'm rewarding you for dieting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even if a client's still going to give you that off-plan meal, because that might be the mental refresh in terms of brushing off fatigue that you need to push on. Do you know what I mean? One meal is not going to undo 36, 38 meals in the week. Do you know what I mean? But I want to be able to have a position where my client can have, like, if you're my client, you can have an off-plan meal, you understand what's a good carbohydrate source, what's a good protein source. If you want to fill yourself up, be fat and protein dense. But I think, my opinion, all lifestyle clients should be having off-plan meals.
The way that I see is like we're here to educate them on how to have a healthy
If the
lifestyle.
client's not as a lifestyle client, I think that's a lack of education on the coach.
Yeah.
Would you do that weekly though?
Weekly? Yeah. Why not? Weekly.
What if they're not progressing?
Would you like a lifestyle? If Would you like an off plan weekly?
Not if I'm not progressing, no.
But in what sense would you class progress?
If I'm not losing enough throughout the week,
But sometimes you can lose and still progress on the
of
vision.
course. But what if that's not happening?
I would still personally put it in there because who said fat loss is over a 7-day period?
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's why maybe daily's best to track, and that's the argument.
Yeah.
Some people look at that metric in 7 days. I've not dropped. I'm going to pull my calories. Sometimes you know what you have to say. Let's assess for another 3 days.
Mm.
And a lot of the time, if a client say Friday to Friday check-in and they've not dropped on the Friday, hey, let's check on a Monday.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you know sometimes you are on that brink of a big drop.
Yeah.
And you be like, oh, I feel like I dropped today. I've not dropped.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might be like, hey, bro, bypass the cheat meal to a Monday. Let's look at the metric on Monday. You might see a 2 kilo drop. What we need to do from there is replenish glycogen, replenish fatigue. So I'm not saying, but again, as that coach, you've got to make that
You
decision.
make a call.
But I'm saying, I wouldn't say, bro, you're signing up for 16 weeks, no cheat meals, no off-plan meals, because it's about education. If that person wants to go out to the football, I still want them to enjoy themselves,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the
Keep them
process
happy.
you enjoy is a process you adhere to, 100%.
And then it's like the longevity as well. Like I always say to people like, this is one thing that I say to my clients all the time that come to me for lifestyle. So I was like, bro, you might be a great guy, but I don't want you to be with me forever. I actually don't want to coach you forever.
I do.
I say to them because like my goal is to
To
educate you on how you can sustain a healthier lifestyle forever. I want you to learn off the back of me, be like, fuck,
And also,
I
from
learned a lot.
perspective, lifestyle coach A, lifestyle coach B. Lifestyle coach A got me to my goal and I had enough time with my family and meal every. Lifestyle coach A got me to my goal but was very restrictive. Which one do you want to be?
And the guys that I normally say that to are the guys that stay on forever.
They stay on, they come back.
They
come
stay
back,
on, they
yeah.
go out to come back because, oh, I want to learn more, I want to learn more, I want to do this, I want to do that.
So yeah,
So, yeah.
and I think sometimes as well is as coaches, a lot of the young coaches, I hope is, as soon as the word lifestyle's in, the coach doesn't take the goal as serious. I think lifestyle goal has to be treated as any prep goal, any shoot goal, any physique development goal, and that's when I talk about tracking the exact same metrics, because you want to over-deliver for that lifestyle fight as well. So when you do restrictive,
So I'm going to ask on the cheat meal stuff. Do you guys set parameters like, say if you have a client that you know is. that
you're
takes
my
the
client,
piss.
bro. I've seen,
No, I know.
I've seen your story. No, joking, go on.
Do you guys set parameters?
My
for people?
parameter is make it the last meal of the day, pre-bed. Because if you set off that appetite in the morning, on Saturday morning, and you had something sweet, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of similar to Jase, but what I tell people is, yeah, swap your biggest meal on your plan for an off-plan meal. Stay away from anything fried. And I'll ask them, like, I'll give them a reason. Like, bro, like, if we eat fried shit, that's gonna mess your digestion
So
up.
if you see Isaac at the bank eating fries tonight, grill him.
He's going to.
Nah, but like obviously for me, like, I've been there, done that. But like for clients that are trying to get into like you
Yeah,
know,
dude, yeah,
like I'll say, bro, like just stay away from the fried shit. Like don't be going for like you
Also,
know.
I've got mine is pizza.
Yeah.
Because I feel like everyone loves a pizza, but I feel like with that, what are we looking at when we break down a pizza? High carbohydrates, high fat, slow digestion. You know, a cheat meal, the way I frame it is, what can you eat, digest, and perform the next day? Like Domino's is great, but if I smash a Domino's, can I get up and be optimal in the way I perform the next day? Probably not. And again, we look at food groups of, naturally there's going to be food groups higher in gluten, we're going to start to put on that side of lethargy if you're gluten intolerant or sensitive to gluten. So we have to look at food groups and be like, can I digest it? I know steak, I can digest well. I know a small dessert I can digest well, but when I go too far past my sugar tolerance, it's going to pull on me the next day. So typically my rule of thumb is something protein dense which you can digest, make a sensible food choice, but make a conscious decision. Naturally, I'm a guy, I want to eat good food. I cook good food at home, I want to eat good food when I'm out. You know, I don't cook good quality meat in the week to go and eat McDonald's on the weekend. It doesn't make sense, it pulls on me. So
I don't do that crap.
yeah, I saw him last night in his story. But again, it's like what you put in nourishes you, it fuels you in what you do day to day. So even now, weirdly enough, if I go out, I eat food which I know it's weird. I'm like, that's going to digest well, that's going to sit well. I'm going to be able to. My biggest thing is, can I perform the next day? 1, for work, 2, for performance in the gym.
Yeah, I'm a bit of I'm anal when it comes to digestion. I believe digestion is everything, man. Like, if you don't digest your food properly, you just feel shit. And I was like, bro, like, you don't want to feel like shit. But also, like, you have that mental, you know, that brain fog. You know, you feel
Food brain
sluggish.
fog is real.
It's
That's
real,
your second
bro.
brain, 100%.
Yeah. So like,
question?
Yeah, we're speaking about lifestyle coach clients here. Do you give any cheat meals to your actual prep clients?
Correct.
depends.
I do, personally, till about I do, but it's dependent on the individual, what the goal is, how the individual responds. I believe you had one most weeks. He had one most weeks. You had not as many, but you had
one
and one or two at a push.
I didn't have any, by the way.
That's fine.
No, you had a few refeeds.
Yeah.
I frame it different.
Frame it different. So, Nick, I believe in your shoot, maybe you had some. But again, do you know what? As a coach, there's the coach's eye. You know who can tolerate one. I can have a cheat meal twice a week. I'll be in shape. Yeah, that's just genetically. I'm very lucky. But again, some clients can't. They might store for 3 or 4 days. They might feel shit. Performance might go back. So there's not a set rule. He gets a cheat meal. Again, if I give you a cheat meal and a prep, you respond, you drop, you look better, you're fuller. Wow, we can do that again. Yeah. If I give you one, you're 2 kilos up, you're a bit softer, performance ain't great, and we haven't dropped over 2 weeks. Probably not going to do that again. Yeah. So it's all personal dependent. I think Luke, you might have had. I'm not sure. I can't
16
remember.
weeks you had me waiting for.
Yeah, you can wait longer.
I don't think anybody, you had no cheat meal. No.
It's also it's a hard endeavour. It's also based on performance, and again, it's based on class as well. You know, naturally, mental elite guys can run in a bit flatter as they're getting in condition, and sometimes being on that side of flatness is where you actually get conditioned.
Yeah, you need to get flat to get
So yeah, crash dieting, poor relationships, mental fogginess. Mental fogginess. If you've dieted hard, you've all had mental fogginess. The goal is to limit that as much as we can, increase fatigue, and then sustainability issues as well. So framework to ensure optimal results and optimal outcomes. The more metrics you think, track more metrics than you think you need. This is just a brief that we use: body weight, fluid, hunger, adherence, deviations, stool movement, any other digestive issue, steps, cardio, training, motivation. This goes on long, blood glucose, blood sugars, It's overkill, it's tedious. It's tedious for me as a client to do it for a coach, but again, some people need that and some don't. So I always say, track more so you've got more things to pull. If you pull more, you can adjust more. Yeah?
I personally I really enjoy tracking these for myself as a client, as a competitor myself. The reason for that is I can then reflect myself, and see how I've been. I know I can then give honest feedback to my coach as well, and I see from the other side as well, being a coach as well. So I encourage my clients to do something like this, to fill out their daily habits, if you use Kahoot, fill out the daily habits, because then it allows me then to see how the week has been. Because for example, as I said, if you're weighing yourself daily, and then obviously you're answering this question daily, and then it's correlation. You can see what's going on there. Like I like to think of myself like,
For example,
do you know what I mean? Like a grandmaster just like tweaking things like this, you know what I'm saying?
3 hours sleep, up half a kilo.
Yeah.
Well, your sleep's poor.
Oh,
If
man.
we're not tracking the sleep, we don't know the correlation. We know the big difference. You can have 8 at 8 p.m. weights up. All right. The more things you look at, you can identify the issue. What happens with a lot of coaches? Weights up, calories down. Don't know why weights up. Weights up, calories down, and that's when you come crash dieting, fatigue, watery, doom. And again, this is probably the biggest question. If you've got an inquiry with any client, this is the first one I ask. What is your previous diet history? That will tell you everything you need to know of how to program for a client. Yes, bro, you've done 6 successful diets. Sweet, I know what client I've got. If I get a client, hey bro, tried 4 diets and I failed every single one, I'm like, okay, here we go. Here we go. The question and again, it's about collecting, downloading data. How much data can we get before a client signs up? Guess what? It's just like the coaching. The more data I get, the more things I can pull on.
Yeah, honestly guys, data is king, man. I can't stress it enough. Because like I can honestly tell you guys, like if I have a guy that completes like his tracker like all the time, it's so much easier for me to like actually get the result that they want easier, because I can pull loads of levers. I can see the correlation. You see the data, you see why something is happening, you see the correlation, and then it's just a lot easier. But if you're getting like 1 check-in a week, oh man, like there's so many other things that could happen in the week that you just don't know, and it's kind of like you just end up guessing. And then I just don't like to guess. I like to make decisions based on data, and that's how I get the best results that I can with my clients.
Also, it's frameworking for optimal results. I help a lot of young guys and they say, Jase, my client stayed up for 12 week diet and now he's left. That's on you. That's on you. Anyone that comes in, you can see I've got 12 weeks, I've got another 12 weeks. If you don't tell people the next step, you're going to tell them too late when their minds are already switched off. So everyone that comes, we're going to do 12-week diet, we're going to do 12-week reverse diet, then we're going to maintain to pull back on body composition, and then we're going to assess and make some goals together.
Yeah.
So always lifestyle clients, because the biggest thing for a lot of coaches is retention. Jase, my clients are always dropping off. my clients are dropping off. It's because you're not framing far ahead. Think further than they believe there is, and educate in that process. Go for it.
How far ahead would you plan?
Some people do a year, maybe too far. I know Carl does a year, but again, it's still, you can still pivot across that year. 100%. If someone's on a 12-week diet, you should do 12 weeks after. 12-week diet, 6-week reverse. Once conditions stabilize, maintain COER, then we might do a 6-week improvement phase. There alone is about 28 weeks. You're nearly at half a year. Do you know what I mean? And then gauge it as the timeline moves, goals move. But again, if someone signs up to you for 12 weeks, don't just program for 12 weeks. Progress for beyond, because they know what's coming next.
Yeah.
Is this me?
Yes, sir.
The strategy for me, getting elite results and coming out the block fast. Sorry, getting elite results, how do I feel the best way to do it is, I like to come out the blocks as fast as possible. As fast and as quick as possible. Why? If you get ready early, what can you do? Repeat, slow down the process, take a step back, have a weekend off, have a deload. It's easier to fill out a physique in 72 hours than it is to drive fat loss. We're getting into the last week, we need to put our foot on the gas because we're not there yet. We throw every tool in and we don't get anywhere. So find a sweet spot for new clients with previous data. Any client that's joining you and they say they've just come off a diet, please do the sensible thing and ask them for their previous diet. So you've got a baseline of foods that are digestible, tolerable, and what they've been eating. And the sweet spot coming out the blocks fast, if someone came to me and simply they came to me from a good point of calories and they just wanted to get in shape with what am I going to do? The easiest way to get a client to drop body fat first is put them into a maintenance and create a deficit of 250 calories. It's very simple. But the question is how would someone in here create a deficit of 250 calories? How would? Huh? Good. How would you? On what?
Where they're at. It'll probably be steps or cardio.
Steps or cardio. I would agree that's going to be the bias because what happens is naturally, mentally, the notion is diet, less food. If you're at maintenance and you've been eating above maintenance, guess what? You've already pulled a deficit here, but we've just not worded it. So I always say create a deficit initially via cardio, not food.
It's funny because like I've had people come to me on lower calories. I bumped the calories up like 500 calories, right? Put it up, like, oh man, I'm eating so much more food. But what we did is like I've increased the steps and I've also been giving cardio. And so that's balancing that out. But because now they have more calories, they can perform better in the gym, which is where you're actually going to see a lot of changes in their physique, right? So like, and then they're like, oh, I don't believe I'm dieting on so much more calories. Because as we said earlier, you kind of have to build the calories up before you actually bring them back down. And also, one of the main important things, as Jase says, and we've said throughout this whole seminar so far, is getting your guys ready early. So like that's like most of the job done. Make sure you overestimate the period that they need to diet. That makes your life a lot easier as a coach, and also makes their life easier too. So don't try to just run them straight into like, if they have like a goal to be lean in 12 weeks, try to get them ready 10 weeks.
Yeah. So
You said like cardio, you'd rather go for the option of like adding cardio
steps,
than taking away calories.
this is from a lifestyle perspective. And someone that's not really built up.
Okay.
Obviously, if you built up to 3,500, you could probably take away. But this
Yeah.
is just Joe Vlogs, come to you not built up. Hey bro, I think I'm eating well, I think I'm eating at maintenance, or you're probably not, so let's bring you there, that's creating a deficit, and then buy a calorie.
Obviously, with calories, it's more certain, right? You understand how much someone is eating. With cardio, are you guessing a little bit? Like
In what sense?
Like in the sense where you don't know how much 8K is going to actually reduce their weight per week until you kind of measure. Is it a case where you're just doing average?
No, but in essence, I know that 20-minute stairs is going to give me a 200k calorie burn.
Okay.
So it's the same with food. I know if I pull out a bagel, that's going to give me 250 calorie burn.
Right.
So I know the trade-off there. Obviously, everyone does it at different intensity, so we work off the average. I know, we might do 10-minute stairs, 15-minute treadmill, whatever. So you know roughly the average of what 250 calories is when you set up a diet.
Another reason why, like I always say, like for the first 2 weeks, you're gonna see how this program is gonna obviously go on with you. Another reason why I track data. So throughout the data that I track, I can see the trend. Okay, the first 2 weeks, did the weight drop? How much did the weight drop by? Did the weight go up? Did it stay steady? Give them another week. That's a confirmation week for me. From there, I make another decision, and then I'll have all the data then to make the best decision possible to get the results.
I'll be honest, if you don't know what you're doing, just put it in an assessment phase. And that's genuinely true for a lot of the, not a lot of the, sometimes as a lifestyle coach, you'll get a client and you're like, I really don't know where to start this diet. I've not got enough data. Set a maintenance, set a baseline, the assessment phase. Hey,
2 weeks.
How do you word it? I want to see how you respond over 5 to 11 days and see where we make the decision.
Yeah.
It's not, you sometimes you don't get it right in the first week, but again, it's a 16-week prep. You can readjust and pivot.
Yeah, so because a lot of the time when you get lifestyle people, they've never tried anything before. They come to you like, oh, bro, I don't even eat, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do you know what I'm saying? I've never, like, what do you do then? It's like for someone that gives you no data, you would then have to
create the data yourself.
All right, bro, we got it once for 2 weeks, collect the data, see how it goes, and then from there we can change things up. So not a really important
And
thing.
then push ethically. Don't be scared to push your clients. At the end of the day, mate, you're employed to get results. 100%. And that's you're based on what you deliver.
This guy's a savage, bro. He'll push you.
I'll push you. I'll push you. I'll push you. As long as I don't kill you, I'll push you.
Alright, cool. So, elite coaching mindset strategies, emotional regulation, and client tolerance. Now, my approach, so when a client signs up to me, I love this question. It's like I ask them about their goals before they sign up, but I take detailed notes. So that gives me an overview on how hard I can push this person. So for example, if someone came to me for a goal, wait, maybe you see how it differs. But like, if someone comes to me for a goal, I'm like, yo Isaac, I want to win my first competition. That's the big goal, I want to win, right? They say they want to win. I have another guy that says, oh Isaac, I just want to compete, I just want to see how it goes. Experience, yeah? So I would tell people, but this is based off experience, obviously work with a lot of people. I would tell people, okay, cool. So bro, I will push you, you know? I will make sure that we stay on top of it. Like when Cesno came to me saying he wanted to compete and win his first competition, I told him what it takes to win his first comp, right? I articulate exactly what it takes to achieve a goal for accountability. So that gives me something for me to, you know, on the days where, oh bro, I'm fighting hard, or bro, I skipped my diet, or this, you can relate it back to their goals. Like, bro, come on, man. He said, this is your goal. To achieve that goal, do you feel like what you're doing, your standards right now, is going to help you to achieve that goal? It always helps you to go back into that cycle because it gives them like a reaffirmment, like, okay, if I want to achieve this goal, I've had to have a conversation with you a couple of times when he may be like, you know, making excuses when you know that you can actually do something. For example, oh, I didn't prep my meals today. Oh, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, bro, you know, you say you want to win your comp, you didn't prep your meals. What's going on there? But because I know his goal, I can always relate. I can always pull back to it, and it helps them to reaffirm it in their minds, and then, you know, they act up again. Emphasizing non-negotiable ethos, standards, no stones unturned. For guys that you guys follow me, that's my ethos in life, no stones unturned. I'll tell you, bro, in order for us to reach this goal, we're gonna do whatever it takes. We're gonna leave no stones unturned, which is nail your diet, nail your steps, nail your cardio. But then by them believing that I'm buying into my ethos, which I preach in all of my content, which attracts people that are similar minded, it helps people to know that that's my standard. So then when you have a standard for yourself, your clients have to live up to your standard because you set that tone from the content that you put out. If your content is saying, oh, like, you know, we're gonna like help you to reach your goals by you eating the meals that you enjoy, or you know what I'm saying, all this type of fluffy stuff, then they will come to you with, oh, like, can I go out? Can I have a cheesecake? Can I have a cake? Because you said I can eat this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and then it makes your life a lot harder. But based on the content that you put out, you attract the same type of clients that has the right mentality. So my ethos, I say it all the time. So my clients that come to me, they know that's my standard. And then schedule checkup calls outside of regular check-ins. I had a call with Eduardo this week because it had a, you know when clients, you know, their check-ins are being brief, they're not giving you as much detail. Something is up there. Bro, what's going on? How are you doing? Like, be that coach that actually cares about your clients. Don't just wait for the check-ins. It's really important to have that personal relationship, in my opinion.
I do it a lot in-person meetups.
In-person meetups. Wait, you get to understand them. When you really understand your clients, you can get the best out of them. And they'll fight for you. Yeah, I have to take that out. But yeah, so that's my approach. It's having the ethos, you know, really helping them mentally to lock in a mindset, you know, no stones unturned, and then regular check-ins when you feel like they need it. It's really important as well.
Go for it.
Let's say you've got a client and they want to do obviously a show,
Yeah.
right? And they're saying to you, I want to do a show this year or next year.
Yeah.
And you look at their physique and you know that
Yeah.
they're not going to be ready for it.
Tell
And
them
you tell
straight
them.
up. Yeah.
But then they're like, oh,
Yeah, I
We
guess
can get
you
you.
have to be
We
honest.
can get you ready for it, 100%. But we'll look at the latest show in the calendar, and we can get you ready for it. But you'll be up against it.
That you have to be honest. Like I always give people two scenarios. About the first scenario, you follow this timeline that I feel like is optimal for you. It's going to get the best possible outcome. This is the timeline, and this is your timeline. Which, from my experience, this is what I would predict the outcome to be. Which one would you prefer?
Yeah, you just give the option.
And then they'll tell you, and then you go from
It's
there.
also the again the mindset of saying, you know, we don't have to rush and we can do a later show stuff like that.
well, that's what you did with moving off or something, isn't it?
Tell the story. Tell the story. He wants to tell the story. I know. Tell the
No,
story.
so literally when I first went to when I come to Jase, obviously.
This must have been 2019.
Yeah. And basically I told him he said to me what's the goal? And I said, I want to compete. He told me straight, he goes, bro, you're not ready to compete. He goes, we can get you there. He
Yeah.
goes, but he goes, not now. He goes, we've got to obviously do the framework and stuff like
I
that.
think we waited 2 years.
Yeah, 2.5 years.
Same thing with Sesno. What happened when you came to me initially, bro?
Well, yeah, more or less, yeah. No, I wanted
But
to compete.
People are scared.
Yeah.
They're scared to say no. People respect the power of saying
You
no.
have to say
That
that.
was the first show you prepped me on my posing.
Yeah, yeah. We did bare
Oh,
sessions, bro. We
see.
did bare sessions.
But again, it's understanding that Nick's been with me how many years? 5. He's now prepping for his first show. If I don't pull the plug if he keeps misbehaving. But it took 5 years, and it's like whatever goal you have, coaching, whatever your business, doing a show, it doesn't just because you have the thought today, it doesn't have to be done tomorrow. At the end of the day, so yeah. And for me, the approach is asking about previous dieting phases. As a coach, I think that's the most important question. Because, like I said, if a client comes to you and they say they failed 3 diet phases, you've got to sort of ask why, too restrictive, or are they just a shit dieter? Because it is a thing. Review their last completed fitness goals to gauge dedication levels. I might have a guy that says, Jase, I've done 10 high roxes, but now I want to compete. I'm like, great, because I know you can compete as well. So you're going to have that same mindset to dedicate yourself. So I always look at sporting backgrounds, youth behaviours, etc., etc. Sounds crazy. I actually look at job titles, because I gauge it on, you know, I had a conversation yesterday, I've got someone, you know, I gauge on where you are in life in your dedication levels as well. Elite adherence, elite mindset, elite results, and implement systems based on their mental readiness. So at the moment, each week, as you would have seen it, I throw out some mental, I was showing you yesterday, some mental talks to help build the mindsets of some of the people that I work with now as well. And the human side of coaching. So last week I sent something because fuck, I'll be honest, I got about 15 check-ins. Can't work my mission. I got a check-in from him a few weeks ago. I feel 80%. I feel unfulfilled, unaccomplished, and I feel like the way the industry is going, it's more than just physique development. Physique development. Every time we go into mindset, David Goggins. It's also understanding clients as a whole and how we manage clients as a whole. I put one thing on my story, it got 170 views, Loom watched about mental readiness. And again, these are things that I go through every single week. Don't be a human. Don't be a human. Don't be a coach. Be a human. Someone clients can talk to. Elite coaching. Carl had that chat with me. Just message some things back and forth. Sweet, makes sense. Coaching is more than a black and white diet plan. As the coaching game evolves, it's about understanding the individual we're working with and how to get the best results. Simply a chat with a client this week. This is a female called Denny. Mentally, I'm not in the greatest I've been. However, I've been down this road before, so I'm taking care of myself. Very important, and prioritizing myself. Some people don't want you to do good. Thank you. I feel better when I talk about it. We simply had a conversation. I said to her, before you fill up anyone's cup in life, you need to fill up your own self-fulfillment before you go out and serve the world. A simple conversation has now stopped her this week, binging on her diet, eating shit. If I didn't have this convo and she binged for another 2 weeks, she would have left as a client because it's not working for her. So understanding, sometimes with clients you have to have uncomfortable situations. Me and Carl had it. Why did you feel unfulfilled? Where are you at in life? Where are you at in your business? What's making you happy? And this is the side of coaching I'm really passionate about bringing in. It's deeper than coaching. It's understanding the individual you're working with and how to get the best out of them. Honestly, question 28 in my check-in sheet is the best one. 10% of check-ins that I get a week are on the negative side from a mental perspective. I'm like, let's try and help where we can, because if you can fix the mental and again feel good in yourself, that dopamine release is crazy. But also, having a human element side of coaching is massive for us as well.
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, Eduardo, we had a call today for last week for an hour. Do you know what I'm saying? We're just talking. Oh, just letting him talk. letting him just to see how he's doing. And that has a massive effect because the next week you were on it, weren't you? Like you felt good after the call, you felt a lot better just because we had a call, just to see how he was doing. Because when you're a coach, like you're speaking to these people like every day, like or like every other day, like you actually you take up quite a little bit of their life, you know, and you got to realize that when you're actually helping people with their fitness, you're helping them with a lot of things as well. So it's not just fitness. So just having a call, even just getting them to have a training session with you. Like that alone, like that can make the whole day. You know, they leave like feeling good. Like I always encourage people, like bro, I'm in Reading or I'm in London. Let's get a session in. I always, if I'm training anyways. If you have clients nearby, just call them. You know, helps.
But yeah, so tonality in that perspective is great. But also remembering that it is a coaching relationship and there's a bit of authority and non-authority. So also being firm but fair. Communication above all is the best. And remember, you're the authority. Don't be scared to pull people out. Call people out when they're not performing well, because if you lose the authority, if you lose your voice, you lose the authority. Nick will tell you I tried to kick him off the team. How many times?
Minimum 3 or 10.
Minimum 3. I'm a straight shooter.
Yeah.
You're in or you're not in. I don't want to give my time to. He's got the best experience he's had, 100%, and he respects it now. Huh?
Get Baker last time to come back.
I cancelled his payment and refunded his money.
Fair.
I said I don't want it. Because I'm at a position, I want to work with people that want to work hard. He's a great coach, he's got a great business, and now he respects it more than anything.
Do you know what it is as well? Like when you are a coach, I get a lot of satisfaction of like working with people that also want it.
Yeah.
Do you know? Because it makes my job more enjoyable. And if somebody's making my job stressful, I'm ringing you up. I was like, bro, come on, man. Because I don't want to be like, you know when they check in, this guy again.
Archive.
You know what I mean?
If you go in my archive,
Long day, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I've actually got on my sheet, I've got a section, I do a register, it says climb on the ropes. But again, that chat that I had with Nick wasn't because he's a fucking amazing client. But when his head's not on, 3 or 4 weeks I don't see him. How if he's doing that 4 or 5 times a year, we're losing a lot of potential. And now he's the best he's been, and I know for a fact he's firmer with his clients. Go for it, Ads.
Where's the line that you draw?
Huh?
Where's the line?
You have fucking more rice cakes next week, mate. You're off. No, essentially, you got to understand. Any coach, again, it comes from a coaching point where one is it's monetary, and then you get to a position where I can say no to clients.
Yeah.
But I don't. I'm at a point where I want to enjoy what I do. Naturally, if I worked in Tesco, I wouldn't enjoy every task there. But when I've got individuals that one are coaches and they can adhere to that level, the line that's drawn is, I've normally got a rule: if you miss 3 check-ins, we'll have a chat, you're off. That's fine. Cool. You might miss that first check-in and come back, but Nick's he just wasn't bothered at that time. That's it. Like he's got a lot of personal stuff on. We communicate about it. But at that time he knew he was just like having fun and whatnot. But I'm not saying go tomorrow, be militant and kick off every client, because I've done it in a way where I knew he would come back. We've worked together for 5 years. We've achieved our best results. We've built a coaching brand together at this stuff. So I know. But sometimes when you get comfortable, your standards start to slip, and it's a horrible. If I let him spiral, he wouldn't be here today. He'd just be like having fun, Marbella, this, that, and whatnot. It's great to do them things, but it's also like get back on your job. So I wouldn't say go out and kick every client. If you're getting to the point where you're picking up that check-in and you're genuinely in a position where it's like, don't really think I'm going to enjoy this check-in today. Not that you have to enjoy every check-in. Don't know what to say. I got to a point is I was like, I don't know what to say to him. If I don't know what to say, what am I doing? I can't fulfill him.
You can't work as a coach, and I hate that. Yeah.
What do you do about that when you have that situation? Let's say it's like it's a bit more calmer, like it's a woman. You know that situation.
As in lack of
You
adherence.
need a bit more emotional, but you're trying to give as much emotional support as you can. It does get to that stage, and you can't just be like, I'm saying, so come on, man.
Yeah.
Just try and get on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Female tonality is different, got to lower your tone, got a reason on their level. I was trying to get that a bit more in detail, whereas him I could just say on the voice note, hey, pick your shit up, get lost. But he's back, and he's probably back for life.
Yeah, no, Zoom calls, man, it's a game changer. Like, and just understanding them, just asking them the questions, let them speak. Don't like speak to them, just listen to them, hear what their struggle is, because a lot of the time when people are not following something, there's something going on. It's either, external influences, or maybe there's something within the plan as well that they're not enjoying. So just asking the relevant questions will allow you to then pinpoint what's going on, and then you can obviously help them through it. If it's external problems, you're just there to be like, look, man, you may be going through a lot in life, but let's focus on one task, which is going to help you in other areas. Because I believe fitness is one of them is super important, and that sense of like accomplishment from your own self will help you in other areas of your life. So that's my ethos. It's like if somebody is going through a difficult time in their life, just focus on yourself a little bit. Go to the gym, go out for a walk. Do something active because you get that endorphins that will make you feel good, and then it'll help you sort everything else in your life. So that's kind of what I lead with all the time, and that usually always helps.
So that's not me saying go kick off every client. It's also explaining that coaching relationships are a real thing. We had a great start, rocky middle, great start. It's not always hickory dickory the whole way through.
Yeah.
And then we wanted to get into bringing it back to sort of programming for fat loss. This is actually a quite interesting one. So the perfect set for fat loss, tapering up before tapering down, the biggest mistake people find. The goal is always to find the ideal start point. So if a client wants to sign up tomorrow and wants to lose 10 kilos based on the scenarios in front of me, what would I do? I had this lady message me, respectfully, the condition is soft and she's been crash dieting. Came to me eating 1,300 calories. Jase, I want to lose 10 kilos from eating 1,300 calories.
Mad.
Don't read my part. Giovanni, what would you do if this lady's come to me crash dieting 1,300 calories and she wants to lose 10 kilos? How would you approach it?
Probably drop the calories a bit slower.
No, you'd drop from 1,300 calories? Where would you drop to? 800?
I thought 3,500.
Oh,
Yeah, you better have thought that. But what would you do? She approaches you, 1,300 calories, I want to lose 10 kilos.
I'll probably up the cardio and go slowly, depending on
Do you reckon? Go.
Go for it, bro.
Did you put your hand up, G?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'd up their calories, get them to build back up their metabolism, and then start getting off.
Remember, Giovanni, you're the power. You're the authority. Just because she wants to do something, that's not necessarily the best thing to do. If she's on 1,300 calories, we up the cardio, 60 minutes cardio, 1,300, and we're going to take to uncharted territory where we run into hormonal issues, hair loss, period, fatigue. Again, as a coach, it's all about you taking the power from the start and framing how to get in the best spot. How would you have done it?
Yeah, I'd have reversed that.
Always, because again, if she's on 1,300 calories, you know what she's in? Fatigue's high already, metabolism's trashed.
Yeah.
Remember we speak about you being in charge of the whole timeline. So again, just because a client wants to lose 10 kilos from a great start point, if we can reframe it, refresh, brush a fatigue, it's probably going to work better. And that refresh might only be 4 weeks. Might be 6 weeks. So again, that's how we would frame it is, hey, I know you want to I know you want to lose 10 kilos, but again, we don't have to force an aggressive timeline. Why don't we spend 6 weeks trying to get you from 1,300 to at least 1,700 or 1,800, and then we can maintain and then have a runway where we pull down. Because 1,300 calories, I'm looking at that, and we put cardio up. She might move for a few weeks, cardio stalls. You're just going to start bringing into that sub 1,000, which isn't the greatest range.
I'll go for that.
Sorry. You know when you add the cardio and the food at the start? Is that taking a tool away then?
Sorry.
Is that taking a tool away then?
No.
Later on? And then
No.
cardio back and cardio?
No.
Do you know kind of, or does that
No.
come down when the calories come down as well?
Because your next tool after that's thermogenic fat burners.
Okay.
There's always another tool.
Yeah.
There's always, if I take cardio and food, I might be like, all right, sweet, well, we've got a fat burner in play, which is going to be the next tool. So you always want to leave one tool in the arsenal. Remember, those are your three main metrics: thermogenic fat burners, cardio, and food. But again, you always want to use a tool. But again, cardio, just because you put in, let me talk about cardio as a tool. I might have said, hey, Peter, you're doing 20 minutes treadmill. He hits a plateau. We go from treadmill to Stairmaster. I know 20 minutes treadmill is the same as 10 minutes on the Stairmaster. So we're now looking at that metric. How can we increase the intensity to create a caloric drop by intensity? So cardio is not just duration, it's also intensity.
I use heart rates. I'm a big fan of heart rates. So for me, it's like if somebody wants to lose, like if I want to start like light, I'll give them 130 to 140 beats per minute, and then if I want to go a little bit more aggressive, I do 140 to 150 beats per minute. So you can burn a lot more calories doing the same amount of cardio, 20 minutes, but the calorie expenditure will be completely different. So I like to do that a lot. It's just frame it a little bit different.
If you wanted to get really difficult and technical,
Yeah.
I would actually start, this is like really extreme, really struggling to lose fat. If I had someone who was at 140, I would actually put hitting for the first 5 minutes of their cardio to get that heart rate. Because if we say, Giovanni do 20-minute Stairmaster. Probably takes 6-7 minutes to get that heart rate going. So if we do hit at the start and get that
Heart rate's flying up. Yeah.
fat loss starting from very early and then cross over into list. A lot of coaches don't do it. I always get some of the females start with hit, then cross over into list because your heart rate spiked and as high as possible. We're in that fat burning state as long as possible. Because a lot of time, give stairs take 7 or 8 minutes to get the heart rate up.
Yeah.
So we're looking at not just duration. Break your cardio down to intensity. How hard can I make it from the start? Go for it.
Do you guys ever use calories as a metric? What I do is I say your cardio is like 20 minutes, but it doesn't start until the heart rate's there.
Yeah.
I don't use calories, and the reason why I stick with the heart rate, so I will give them a buffer as well. So I was like, it's going to take you about 5 minutes or 3 to 5 minutes to get your heart rate up. You can obviously add that on as well at the end, but usually I just keep it at. The thing is, the heart rate is so important for me. I like to do heart rate. I'm a big fan of it because like it helps me to put another lever, another thing that I could actually force a fat loss. So if I'm, for example, this guy, I know that mentally he doesn't like to do more than half an hour cardio because
Make
he just
it more
stresses out.
intense.
Then I just add a little bit more, increase the heart rate, and that allows him to still burn a little bit of calories. I don't go anything more than 150 though, because that's just crazy, especially sprinting. But 140 to 150 is the max I'll go without increasing the cardio. It really helps. Yes, Kashan?
How do you stop people at the beginning of a diet phase going too hard on cardio too fast? I know that I used to do this.
Set the parameter.
Yeah, you have to set it.
You set the
at the
parameter.
start. Yeah.
You got to set the parameter. Hey, again, this is why heart rate's great because he might say only go between 120 and 130. Then you've got a tool to use. So set the parameter from the start. Because if you're going hard from the start, respectfully, where have we got to go from here? This is everything I do. Where do we go? Where do we go? You know, if Peter comes and he's running zone 5 from the start, where do we? You've got nowhere to go. You have to start from a position of there has to be a tool and a metric to taper up. If we've got nothing to taper, we've got nothing to use.
Yeah, you need to give them enough runway. So like, when you really understand the levers you can push, it just makes a lot more sense.
There's actually so many
There's
levers.
so much you can do, bro. Like if someone is not like losing body fat, that again, this is why again I track so much data. That's why I always tell you guys, like I'm saying it right now, like track the data because from there you have so much tools to use. We got like a plethora of tools, and then you are just the guy that's using the right tool, you know, to get the best possible outcome. Start them at 120 to 130, go to 130 to 140, go from 140 to 150. You can same amount of cardio, 20 minutes, but they can burn different amount of calories, and it has a different effect on the physique. Super important.
So you know when you do your cardio as well, let's say obviously you've got a couple of clients and they're on like say 15 minutes of Stairmaster.
Yeah.
What would you use the time frame as to obviously increase that by? Like say let's say you're on 15 minutes.
Yeah.
What's the highest jump you would go?
I personally do 10.
What, 5, like basically, so from 15 minutes, they'll go to 25 minutes?
Yeah, well, it depends on how long, how many days they're using.
You've got to gauge it, yeah.
So like, for example, if he's doing...
Or you could go 5 and then increase the level of intensity. It's sort of like it's a metric.
So that's what I do.
Yeah, it's all dependent. If I'm going to increase the intensity and the level, then we'll probably go 5.
The thing is, there's so many different ways to do this. It's not just one way, but knowing that you have all the tools to use, then you just pick what you feel like will be the best. There isn't like you have to do this or you have to do that. So for example, if the person, I usually always start like 20 minutes, 4 days a week, depending. 20 minutes, 4 days a week. 20 minutes is really
And then you've got the day to add in another day. To
add in another day.
Before you take the length up, you want to add the day in my opinion.
I'll go maximum for lifestyle clients, personally, 5 days a week. Personally, for me.
7.
And then just for lifestyle.
Just because I like 7. I like again, it's individual. I know I can't get him off cardio.
Yeah, some people like it. Again, it's very personal dependent. You may have somebody that is fixed like how we fix. We may be tapped sometimes, you know, but the general population doing cardio every single day, like it can be a bit of a slog for them. But I want them to have adherence. My personal thing is if you can adhere to the plan, that's the best plan for you. Do you know what I mean? Like if I give you 7 cardio sessions a week and you're only hitting 4,
there's something wrong there.
There's something wrong, or then it taps into your mentality as well. You don't see the plans working for you, so I want to make sure that I can make the plan work for you. So 4 days a week, 5 days a week, anyone can do that.
Go for it.
Do you have any recommendations for cardio for people who don't have access to the gym?
Outside, running,
steps, bro.
running,
Steps is important.
running.
Skipping rope, I like a skipping rope as well.
Peter, do you do any gym-based cardio?
Yeah, you.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I run.
But you don't do any gym-based cardio?
Start sometimes, don't you?
But again, he's in phenomenal shape. Again, people associate getting in shape with gym-based, hard slog cardio. A lot of the time is, you can outdoors your easiest tool. When you're on holiday, 90% of the time I go on holiday, there's no gym. I won't do any cardio. Steps, high intensity walk, run, sprint. The gym is not the only tool to create fat loss.
So I've got a lot of like getting them to the gym. So I'm not. So when I get there, I want to make sure they're using the weights. And then when most of them are women, they're high on track. Get them doing like some HIIT workouts in the front room, or get their steps in.
But even outdoor runs, and runs don't have to be 5Ks. They don't have to be zone 3, zone 4. They don't have to be. They can be at a slower pace.
Also,
you know what I mean?
circuits are great, because I used to coach some ladies that didn't like doing cardio, but they loved circuits. So I'll do a little HIIT circuit, right? Stations, different stations, because they love the challenge. They want to be
just creating
mentally stimulated.
Creating that heart rate.
Yeah, creating the heart rate. 20 minutes, boom, 20 minutes HIIT session. Is some people, again, you got to gauge the individual you're working with, all right? And then as a coach, you then have to prescribe the right plan to suit them. Because for us, it's the main thing is adherence. You have to have something that they can adhere to, because that's how you get the results. If they do it 1 week and they can't do it the next week,
it's pointless.
It's pointless. Do you know what I'm saying?
Go for it, bro.
Yeah, bro.
How would you schedule cardio with females with PCOS?
I would frame it the same way.
Same way. It doesn't matter.
And PCOS you're still in a fat loss phase. I would still frame it the exact same way.
Same
Would you differ? Maybe the intensity at the very back end, but for the start, it's not going to create anything to do with food. And Kyle's big on PCOS, so I'm sure he'll agree. I wouldn't be pushing to extreme realms, but I would still program the same way.
Yeah.
100%.
There was another question.
Wouldn't be going.
Push something HIIT and it works well.
Yeah.
So it's just because I have it, it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't
necessarily
always
mean-
offset. We can't get fat loss. That's the biggest thing online. PCOS means I struggle with fat loss, but it's a conversation for another day.
Skinny fat at maintenance. So this guy came to me. It's to be fair, I said to Jase last year, he's actually in good shape, but he's in decent shape for someone that doesn't train. He just doesn't train at all.
Yeah.
And I think he's in decent, but he's carrying a little bit of body fat. And so he's untrained. So what do we do here? Strict to maintenance. And you go through a phase called a recomp phase. So you prescribe a training plan. He just needs to go to the gym. He needs to train. He needs to eat at maintenance.
Create that stimulus from
And
training.
he will just completely transform. So I'm not putting him on a dieting phase just because he wants to lose body fat. He's at this phase right now that he just needs to train. He just needs his body to work, all right? And then you're going to see the change over time. And obviously, what I'll do then, the approach that I'll do, so I might put him, once he go into the gym a little bit, I might put him on a slight deficit, not from calories, but from output. Because I want him to just move, and I want him to have the relevant calories there that will force the adaptation that I want, which is promoting muscle gain, recovery, all that thing. So sometimes it's not even creating a deficit, from calories. It's creating a deficit
Also
from the cardio.
naturally create a deficit. If he's at maintenance, he's never trained, and he's now burning 300 calories in a session, he's creating a deficit. So he's going to get leaner, fuller, harder.
Yeah.
And then we got this soft and overeating. That should say a client wants to gain muscle but is overeating. In this scenario, the first thing you probably do is start to pull back, create immediate deficit, establish baselines. Because some guys, they come to you, hey bro, I want to bulk, and I look and I'm like, bro,
You've been bulking.
what are we doing here? What are we really doing here? And sometimes it has to be very straight. Hey man, you're not in the position to bulk. You need to pull back first and create an immediate deficit to get them in and out that phase as quick as possible. But yeah, every body type, as you can see, it requires a different approach.
Different approach, yeah. All right, so this is me. So optimizing building phases, start lean, stay productive. The most productive building phases start from a lean state. Enter a building phase, this is kind of the 8 to 14%. This is my favorite thing. I'm a massive advocate, if people follow me, a massive advocate of staying lean and growing lean. I love it. All right, so still lean at the moment. Nah. Don't want to see that, but the leaner starting conditions optimize nutrition partitioning, training outputs, hormone environment, and recovery capacity. Now, the reason why I always start a building phase from a lean point of view, because you can actually stay in the building phase for longer, which makes you actually more productive. When you start adding too much body fat in a gaining phase, you actually stop, gaining muscle at a good rate. Did you have something to say?
No, so like insulin sensitivity gets shit, appetite gets shit, digestion gets shit, and there's only one way to fix digestion is you have to diet and pull back.
Yeah, so...
And remember a gaining phase, the goal is to stay in it as long as possible. And some of the lads that will gain with me, Afnan, Nick, who's currently in the gaining phase, you'll see we might gain for 10 weeks and then we go into a maintenance phase. Why maintenance phase? Is going to pull calories down, get appetite back, get insulin sensitivity back, and then go from there. I think we're actually going in one soon. But again, next week. But again, it's just to pull back and say, it's going to create that runway for your appetite. Sometimes slingshot, you have to come back to go forward again.
Yeah, facts. So high insulin sensitivity allows calories to be stored as glycogen and muscle, not fat. It visual softens, increase faster. What?
This one's got me thinking about what percent I am.
Nah, you're good. Viewers around here, isn't it? 10%. If visual softens faster than performance, the surplus is no longer productive. All right, so what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, if this gentleman here starts to go a little bit to this side, then it's not productive anymore. Like, the fat loss is going to, the muscle gain is going to slow down. He's not going to be productive in the gym. Performance is going to go down, in my opinion. I feel like when I'm lean, or when I'm in a good body composition, I feel good with myself, first of all. I can push harder in the gym. I don't feel sluggish. You know, when you're eating a lot of food, you have that bloat. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever pushed in the off season, calories really, really high. You go to the gym, you're already tired before you even start training.
There's also that fine metric of sometimes who here has been heavier, they're heaviest and they're actually not any stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, we've all been there. It's a sweet spot because, again, your body doesn't say, I'm 130 kilos, I'm strong. Your body sees it. It's using energy to carry excess body fat. Mm-hmm. It's like wearing a jacket of body fat. If you're carrying too much body fat, your body's actually expending energy carrying that around. So by the time you've got to the gym, the energy tank's been ticked off. And that's why sometimes your heaviest is not always your strongest. And when you start prepping your 3-4 kilos lighter, you're absolutely strongest. So it's finding that happy medium and sweet spot because, again, your body is using expenditure just carrying around your physique. So what happens if it's carrying excess body fat? By the time you try and translate that energy that's been carrying around this excess body fat to training, your performance dips. So it's finding that sweet spot is in, naturally when we start, we have to go too far and come back and find our happy medium.
Yeah, but as a rule of thumb, definitely try to start. So if someone came to me, I want to go into a building phase. All right, if they're carrying too much body fat, if they're not within this, the first thing I'm doing is getting them into that position. So I'm going to get them the position. You know, obviously, if they're training, if someone have trained before, but they're just a little bit fluffier, I'll get them in this position first. Then we start. You know, we do the reverse diet. I'll start increasing the calories, 150 to 200 calories per week.
Does everyone know
how it goes?
Does everyone know what a reverse diet is? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll explain reverse diet. Basically, once you've got them down to a decent calorie deficit where they've achieved this kind of fat loss, the reverse diet then is we're then taking them out of that slump and start increasing the calories nice and slowly. We're not putting 500 calories there, 600 calories there. Personally, the way I do it is 150 to 200 per week. Now, all I'm trying to see from here is gradual increments in their weight, but also what I'm also want to do is I want their metabolism to balance, all right? Because what happens when you come out of a deficit is you're going to be really hungry. Like, hunger is going to be through the roof. You're going to want to eat everything. Your metabolism is not in equilibrium, so we want to help it to get to that point. Also, insulin sensitivity is going to be really, really high at that phase. So if you start eating loads of food, what is going to happen? Water retention, you're going to start storing body fat. So we want to gradually get you out of that.
We're touching on this from a marketing perspective as well. If you're selling any packages, selling any poison, you're selling 12 weeks and you've not educated about reverse dieting.
Yeah.
That's what happens when someone does a diet. Jase got in shape for Marbella, Mykonos, whatever, 12 weeks and they're done because they don't understand. And your goal as a coach is you haven't educated them about the reverse diet and how to do it. And in simple layman's terms, the reverse dieting is the opposite of dieting. We took your calories down and took cardio down. We're doing the opposite to ensure you're in an optimal position.
Yeah, so it's all about getting them in an optimal position like this, and then they can have the building phase for longer. They're happy, they're lean. Everyone likes to be big and lean, so that's the goal. They're going to be strong in the gym, hormonal environments, lean starting points favor better androgen to estrogen ratios and superior nutrition, signaling via mTOR pathways. The testosterone works more effectively. And then obviously they can stay lean, which is the main thing. We want to make sure they can stay in the building phase for longer and obviously build as much muscle as possible. So yeah, as soon as they start to gain too much body fat, it's a long day, pull them back, or even just stay in the maintenance phase.
Do you differ, not necessarily like the process time, how far you push them if they're enhanced versus not?
Oh,
in what sense? In terms of adding tissue?
Yeah. Speed or anything?
Adding tissue?
Yeah.
Well, it depends, right? There's a lot of variables, there's a lot of nuances. So to be honest, no, I keep it the same, man. If I'm going to be completely honest.
Like, we've had a chat, He's worked with previous coaches who's good friends of mine. He's got very heavy previously, very heavy. And because, again, I talk about individuals, and I had a chat with Carl this week about how hard we can push him due to his external factors. He's a great coach. And I said, if we traditionally just put on size, it's going to take away from your work life. It's going to take away from your productivity. So we've actually refused to take him. How much kilos are you under than your heaviest last time? 9. Because sometimes with clients, it's understanding. I don't want him to feel. Last time he was like, "I'm stop bodybuilding. I feel shit." To understand that, I'm trying to frame his prep now where he feels good. So again, everyone's different. Whereas someone like Ads, I'm like, we can push you because I know you can get lean. A lot of my clients are like, I know you can get peeled, so we can push you further. Whereas with him, it's a different conversation because I'm like, if I push you too far, you're not going to be productive in work. You're not going to be the best version of yourself. Then you're probably going to say you can't be bothered in that essence. So it's also understanding the individual. But again, it's hard because if I know someone can get extremely lean, I sort of be like Luke, I know you can get lean. With him, I'd be a bit more lenient and be like, we can get a bit softer because I know you can bring it in. But if someone traditionally struggles to get in condition, why are we going to take them to a worse start point?
Yeah. Depends on their goal as well. Like, it depends on their goal. So coming from a competitive point of view, right? If I know that, bro, like, we're going to take a whole year off and we want to be, we want to build as much muscle as possible, then I will probably push that person harder. So that's what I would do as well.
But I'd also bring them back before prep because I always have a saying, I'm like, a leaner start point's a leaner end point, 100%.
You never really want to be like 15, 20 kilos above stage weight. That's a long day. You never want to
like
do that.
really adding tissue.
Yeah. I was like that. I was like 20. I was fat as fuck before oh, bro, it was long. I was so big. Like, I was 20 kilos from my stage weight. I didn't even build that much muscle, like, to be honest with you. It was just because, again, my muscle, as I was getting fatter, I wasn't building as much muscle. If anything, I actually started building muscle during prep. So when I was with Jase, first like 6 to 8 weeks, our weight did not move. It was like the same. But my body composition was changing because why? Because what we just spoke about here, I was more effective in my training sessions. The insulin sensitivity was better, so I was actually using my food better. But prior to that, I wasn't because first of all, I was bloated as fuck as well. So when you're bloated all the time,
you think you're big.
You think you're big because you're like this, head like a flipping moon. But like I wasn't training. I wasn't as strong as I could be. So again, sometimes you do need to pull back to actually get the best results. And that's why you kind of want to stay relatively lean, see the ab lines, and then you're good to go. All right, this thing's annoying, isn't it? All right, and I guess this is fat gain is a cost, not a requirement. Muscle gain slows as fast accelerates. The goal is maximizing lean tissue gain per calorie surplus. The best off-season feel boring because it does. It's repetitive. Like, if anyone's ever done an off-season properly, it's a long process. So you have to stay in that bag, but it's just doing the same thing over and over again. It's rinse and repeat. All right. So it's not going to be like exciting. You won't see the progress like every single day. You'll see it every single month. So it's like a monthly thing. All right, so set ceilings, establish acceptable fat gain limits, rate of gain per week, or body fat that you accept. Correct course, when the ceiling exceeds, implement mini cuts or hold calories steadily. When you see that person is a little bit softer than you would like, hold them, put them in a holding phase, or even go a little bit to a mini cut for like 4 weeks, push again, monitor markers. Watch for pore fullness, increased water retention, more libido drops. This is really important because this is a great indicator whether the insulin sensitivity is also shit. So if you start seeing they're not getting good pumps to the gym, if they're telling you guys, I'm not getting good pumps, and obviously the calories is a lot, then there's something going on there. They're not using the calories properly, so you need to pull them back again. Increase water retention, again, pull them back. Optimize digestion. You cannot grow well if digestion is compromised. The leaner you start, the longer you can stay productive. So again, I preach a lot about digestion. Super important, especially in the gaining phase, because you ain't growing if you're not digesting your food.
It's not about what you consume, it's about what you digest, and that's why your food sources are key. A lot of guys, I'm like, we're not going to use bagels, we're not going to use cream of rice, we're not going to, again, certain people can tolerate these foods, but a lot of people can't as well. And the fun foods, my diet is plain as fuck. But again, I'm like, it works for me from a digestion standpoint.
Yeah, you want to feel good as well, because if you're not digesting your food, if you're bloated, you don't feel good. You're going to be walking around with a bloat all the time. No one likes that. So you want to make sure that you're digesting your food. So guys, like, whenever I always, it's important to know what the client can digest. So you ask them, like, how are you feeling? So in my check-in forms, so when I do my daily check-ins for my clients to complete the tracker, I ask them how the digestion is. because I want to understand whether the food is digesting efficiently. If they feel bloated, I get to the pinpointer. All right, bro. So let me know after what meal do you feel that bloat, and then from there, I can then try to pinpoint where the bloat is